So today's the day that a lot of you have probably been looking forward to. It's the day that we're going to start talking about the eagles. The first eagle we're going to talk about is one of our bald eagles, Independence. So this is one of our bald eagles. This one is Independence, or Indy for short. And see, she's a juvenile bald eagle. So if you look at all that brown that's on her head, she's got a little brown on her tail, you can see that she's a juvenile. They'll get that white head and white tail once they turn about 5 years old. So she's 4 years old this year. Next year she should have that full white head, full white tail. Now these birds are full grown when they're about 4 months old. So even though she's not mature, she is full grown. So they reach full size at 4 months old, but aren't mature, can't get married until they reach about 5 years old. Now, bald eagles are a great success story because they used to be endangered. They used to be endangered for numerous reasons, one of them being a chemical called DDT. DDT was being sprayed on the crops, running into the waterways, making the fish sick. Well, bald eagles like to catch and eat fish. The easiest fish to catch are the sick ones because they just kind of float on top of the water. And so the bald eagles were catching all those sick fish, which was then having those chemicals run into their bodies and was thinning out their eggshells. And so every time they would lay an egg, when the parents would sit on it to try and incubate it, it would crack underneath the pressure of the parents. No new eagles were being born. Since then, we discovered what the problem was. We're no longer using that chemical, and now there are plenty of bald eagles all over Alabama, all over the U.S. They're no longer endangered. They're no longer threatened. We'll have people calling us, telling us, they had just seen a bald eagle. They know where a nest is. Do we want to know the GPS coordinates? No. I've got 2 bald eagles right outside my office. I'm sitting within about 10 miles of another 2 bald eagles' nests that are out in the wild in Auburn. And so these birds are common all over the place now. No longer endangered, no longer threatened. They're in the category of fish eagles. So fish eagles tend to have some kind of white markings on either their head or the tail, and then the feathers don't go all the way down on their toes. You can't really see it because she's wearing some gear that prevents you from seeing her feathers, but they would go all the way down, or it wouldn't go all the way down to her toes. It would stop a little ways up, and that's because they're dipping their feet in the water, catching all those fish. They'll also catch other things, and they're also very opportunistic. They'll eat carrion, so they'll eat roadkill, things like that. You don't see that around here very often, but if you go to like Alaska, you can see a lot of bald eagles if you go to the dumps, because that's just an easy source of food for them. So we got Independence here in the summer of 2018. She came from us from a rehabilitator in Florida where she fell off a nest and injured herself. That rehabilitation facility tried to do their best to actually fix her up, release her back into the wild, but unfortunately while she was undergoing that rehabilitation, she became imprinted on people, and so she could no longer be released back into the wild. Since she came to us, we've actually been working with her, trying to get her to become one of our eagles that we fly in the stadium. Last year, we flew her at the Super 7 championships for the high school games, and so she has gotten some repetitions in front of a moderately sized crowd. Then she's also been to all the games that we had last year. She was on the sidelines getting used to the crowd noise, getting used to everything. We hope to be working her into our rotation hopefully this year, but she's still got a lot of training to go left in her. That process takes about 2 years for us to be comfortable flying them before the Auburn home football games. So look for her in the future. Hopefully we'll have her going here soon. So that's a little bit about Independence. Keep tuning in. Tomorrow we're going to be learning a little bit more about Spirit, our other bald eagle. So keep watching and sharing these videos. Keep tuning in. War Eagle.
Oh, you looking at that?